Hi, my name's Zachary, and this is my product for design for manufacturing. I decided to make this bag to protect my Reese Bible when I throw it in my backpack. This bag also can hold prayer cards.
A little background. The Douay-Rheims Bible is an older English translation from the Latin Vulgate, which itself was translated primarily by St. Jerome in the 4th century from the Greek and Hebrew texts. Now, back to the bag.
The bag is made up of the fabric, the plastic insert, and the brass butt.
I created the insert using vacuum forming. I first had to create the vacuum former, which I made simply by cutting up some MDF, cutting a hole for the vacuum, nailing the box and the frame together, and drilling 384 holes in the top. I duct taped the seams to help with the seal. I made the mold out of wood, making sure to keep it short so that the plastic doesn't get too thin when forming around it. Then I stapled a polypropylene sheet to the frame, heated it up, and moved it over to the vacuum former, but I could not get the mold out of the plastic without breaking the insert. I had neglected to build in a draft angle. Running short on time, I stacked pencils around the mold to make it easier to remove, and this time I managed to get the mold out. I roughly cut the insert out of the plastic, then evened it out with the belt sander. Moving on to the bag, I designed the bag to have as few pieces as possible to limit the amount of sewing necessary. There are 2 pieces of canvas, the bag and the pocket. I sewed the pocket on before sewing the sides of the bag. I sewed the bag together inside out so that the rough edges would be inside the bag. I added some stitching where the buttonhole will be and the bag is done. I designed a simple button to limit the number of manufacturing operations. It has 4 holes and a chamfer on the side that faces the fabric. To make the button, I put a brass rod in a lathe, chamfered the edges, and parted it off. However, I failed to consider how difficult it would be to hold the button to drill the holes in it. I ended up starting over, using a mill to drill holes into a brass rod, and then performing the same operations on the lathe as before. I cleaned up the sides and the edges and it was ready to go. Sewing the button on was a fairly easy process, although it was time-consuming as it had to be completed by hand. I cut the buttonhole with a knife, and with that, the bag is complete and it easily holds my Douay-Rheims Bible and prayer cards. Thanks for watching.